as we all know, 2021 wasn't the best year. Some would argue it wasn't as bad as 2020, but that's a whole nother discussion. I do want to discuss, I used the word discuss twice, damn it. I do want to talk about things I've kind of experienced in 2021 in terms of media that I really enjoyed, and I would highly recommend. So number one, Anna and the Apocalypse. I made a short movie review on this channel, and I did express how the movie was pretty good and I liked it, but like wow, I almost feel kind of guilty that it was so short, and wow, like especially watching this movie in the context of a pandemic, something about it like hits a little harder, and I guess the fact that musical and a zombie movie, how that can be intertwined so smoothly, and you have these scenes where you have all the typical zombie mayhem, but then someone singing it's something, all right, and I would recommend it. Like I feel like there's a lot of things I could kind of go in depth about it, and I guess how the movie's weirdly relatable, but nothing's like I guess it'll have to be a scripted video if I were to do that. So maybe I'll make that, maybe I won't, maybe I'll have to rewatch it. Who knows? Number two. Okay. I know I've been, I posted a couple videos regarding this, but they were like really short, and it was just they're just dumb jokes, but it should highlight how much I like this series, the Mass Effect Trilogy. I got into it last year, and wow. These games are fantastic. The combat's pretty fun, but I guess the main thing that kind of dragged me was the story and characters. And I guess the humor as well to an extent, which sounds weird. It's a sci-fi epic trilogy. I shouldn't be talking about how the jokes elevate the story, but they weirdly do.
Hey, Commander, check out my co-pilot!
So she installed herself into the new body without any help from you?
Come on, Commander, don't you trust me? Okay, let me put it this way. If I knew that Edie was gonna install herself into a sexy robot body, do you honestly think I'd be able to keep quiet about it? Look at that! I would've baked a cake.
I am right here, Jeff.
Yes, you are, Edie. Yes, you are.
That's always a risk. But then so are the Reapers.
Yeah, I wasn't planning on dating Harbinger.
You know what I mean. If we all ended up dead this time tomorrow, what would you regret?
Getting a shattered pelvis. And a broken heart. Such a stupid idea.
You and Edie have something special. Something important.
You're worried I might mess up the pilot-ship relationship.
I can handle myself, Rex.
How are you getting drunk?
Very carefully. Torian brandy, triple filtered, then introduced into the suit through an emergency induction port.
That's a straw, Tally.
Emergency induction port. It's actually getting a little harder to get it into the slot. I think that means it's working.
Therefore, as a faithful servant of the Enkindlers, we too must serve the Reapers.
You big stupid jellyfish. You know, I support religious freedom for all species, but that's just crazy.
Dad, I got creds. We'll go back to my place. I got simple tastes.
Back off, asshole. I'm a dancer, not a hooker.
You got a mouth on you. I'll enjoy watching you use it.
The lady asked you to step away.
You want in on this transaction? Hey, I don't care if it's you or this bitch. I just like good times. Oh!
Good times are over.
A little busier than I imagined.
How about a dive in the pool?
You obviously haven't seen Turians swim. It's a lot of flailing and splashing interrupted by occasional bouts of drowning.
Yeah, you're right. I just have to save your ass again.
Now, before we head back, there is one thing we're going to settle. Once and for all. I'm not saying you don't know how to handle a gun, just saying some of us know how to make it dance. We're not going to propose marriage now, are you?
Yes. Hey, Jack, now that you're military, you gonna wear a uniform, or are you just getting the officer's bars tattooed on?
Screw you, Flight Lieutenant.
What the hell was that?
Jack promised to watch your language in order to maintain the necessary professionalism we need from our teachers.
What, does she have a swear jar or something? Because I bet if we empty that thing, we can afford another cruiser.
Cover your ears, kids. Hey, Joker.
And I guess the unique characters and kind of assembling your own crew, it feels really cool. It's like a similar joy from, say, experiencing One Piece, whether it's a manga or anime. I'll recommend the manga more, but regardless, it's kind of similar in a sense where you sort of meet these new people, they join your crew, and the interesting thing about Mass Effect 2 is there's like a loyalty missions for each character, which like the game makes it seem like it's optional, but it's not. You have to do at least do most of the loyalty missions to, I guess, ensure your crew's survival. But those are like really good. You get to know the characters better, and it's just really like you feel really invested. And that's the thing. So Mass Effect 2 spends a good chunk of time getting you to know these characters, and then the suicide mission, the final mission. Oh boy, it's brutal. If you don't play this correctly, your entire team can die. That's right. Like, it's like the plot armor is just lifted. Anyone can go out, even you, the main character Shepard, can go out. And granted, if that happens, you can't transfer your save file to Mass Effect 3 because Shepard needs to be alive for Mass Effect 3 to happen. But man, like the first time I played it, half my team died. And that should highlight how bad I am at the game. And then I replayed it, managed to get the ending where everyone survives, and that's great. But yeah, it's like that final mission's intense. Like from a gameplay design, things are alright, things work, you know. I mean, the music's pretty cool, but like the fact that anyone in your crew can go out, just man, the level of tension and excitement that final mission has is just insane. And Mass Effect 3, people don't like it as much. Like I'm currently replaying it, but I'll say the combat's improved from 2. There's definitely some cool moments. Like the graphics look amazing for sure. The Nightwing appears at one point. I'll say it's still worth playing. And the entire trilogy, I think it's worth playing from the start to the end. And while the ending might not be perfect per se, because it's kind of impossible to wrap up every loose end if you ask me. But who knows? Maybe BioWare could have pulled it off there if there was more time in the development. But it's worth playing because your choices in Mass Effect 1 affect Mass Effect 2. Your choices in Mass Effect 2 affect Mass Effect 3. So it's best played in like the entire trilogy from beginning to end. I think that's how you get the full experience. So yeah, Mass Effect Trilogy. They released the Legendary Edition, which is on current and last gen consoles, as well as PC, so that's really cool. I would highly recommend playing this trilogy. It's awesome. Staying with video games, this one's, I won't say it's obscure, like I think quite a few people played it. And I also made a review on my other channel. It's Little Nightmares 2. Wow, this game was really freaky, you know? Like, man, oh boy. Like the art style, like the art design, like it looks really good. The atmosphere's fantastic. It's just the right length. There's a couple of annoying bits, but it's never like enough to like stop you from playing. You're invested in. It's a great game. I'm not sure if I would call the game fun, but it looks beautiful. It's scary. It's kind of everything you want in this short horror game. And while I did kind of complain about the ending, that's just more of a personal thing. Maybe you would like it. And yeah, Little Nightmares 2, I believe it released for $40, half the $40 Canadian, half the price of a usual game. So I'll say it's worth playing. It's probably a little cheaper now, but wow, I really like this one. Last but not least, at least in terms of video games, Resident Evil Village. Wow, I'm a pretty big Resident Evil fan. Got into the franchise around maybe 2018-ish. And yeah, like, I played a good chunk of them. I haven't played the original PS1. I haven't played the original PS1 games, the PS1 trilogy, but I did play all the remakes, and I played through 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 this last year, I guess. It's 2022 already. I already forgot. And Resident Evil Village, wow, I did make a review on it on my other channel, just like with Little Nightmares 2, but this game, like, despite its high production values, it reaches levels of insanity that's sort of unseen in most AAA games. Like, the game never gets boring, and while it's a little light on horror, there are a couple sections that kind of freaked me out. That large baby fetus monster, oh my god, that was really terrifying. But yeah, like how the game kind of keeps escalating, things just keep getting crazier, and the variety of locations, and the fun combat, and how it still retains that survival horror gameplay. Yeah, it's great. Now, the weird thing is, it's kind of, many people recommended to play the game on hardcore mode, but then this is where things get weird. When you play, when you're playing Resident Evil Village, the first section of the game is probably one of the hardest parts. Like, I was at a friend's house and I was playing a hardcore mode, like the beginning village fight that's reminiscent of Resident Evil 4. Man, it was brutal. Like, it took forever to get it right. But yeah, and then like the rest of the game, sure, it's kind of difficult, but it's still pretty reasonable, at least so far. On my second playthrough, I'm still at the castle, but yeah, Resident Evil Village, it retains the core of Resident Evil, while sort of, I guess, innovating and changing enough to keep the franchise fresh, which is why I love this series. It's great. Like, it keeps on mutating and changing, like the many viruses that are featured in this franchise, but it still retains that core of what makes Resident Evil. So yeah, maybe I should make a video on the Resident Evil franchise. But Resident Evil Village, really solid title. I really liked it. That's it in terms of video games, which is, I'm honestly kind of surprised, because this is probably the only year where I played, like, 3 games from 2021 and 2021. It's strange, like, man. Because usually I wait a couple years before playing a game, because I don't usually spend $80 on games, but yeah. Oh, this year I did play not this year. I keep making that mistake. Last year I did play through The Last of Us 2. And yeah, I could talk about a lot about that game. But to summarize, there's some things I really love. Some things which just made me question reality. And like, everyone has a different opinion on The Last of Us 2. I guess I can kind of see where people are coming from. But I kind of disagree with almost everyone on at least one aspect. But yeah, The Last of Us 2, I love the first one, like everyone did. Second one, it's a fascinating game. While I would kind of consider giving it like a 6 out of 10, it's not because it's mediocre. It's because the highs are so highs and the lows are just, yikes. And yeah, one more thing. Oh god, I said I was finished talking about video games. I was playing through Miles Morales recently, but we're now going into 2022 territory, so I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk about it. But the beginning of the game, like the very beginning of the game, fantastic. Like, there's this fantastic set piece. Then the game starts, and I weirdly wasn't all that invested. Like, it wasn't like that the story was bad. It was weirdly paced. And yeah, it's almost kind of disappointing. But then now I'm like through past the halfway point, and things are starting to pick up. So I think I'll like this game. Obviously not nearly as good as the first Spider-Man Insomniac game, but that's kind of an unfair comparison. But I feel like for all its faults, I'll probably come out with a positive opinion on Spider-Man Miles Morales. So, what is there to talk about? Oh yeah, I saw a lot of movies in 2021 because theaters finally opened. I'll just flash my top 12 movies of the year right now. Yeah, Venom Let There Be Carnage made it into the list, and I'm not ashamed.